the life of the innocent.
The tree did not stop wailing. Every night, its cries echoed through Umuachala like the voice of a grieving woman calling from another world. Its red sap streamed down its bark, slow, steady, thick, like blood refusing to dry. At first, the villagers laughed nervously. They told themselves it was the wind, a coincidence, a trick of the night, but the cries grew louder, and the gods remained silent. In fact, the gods had left Umuachala. They refused to answer, refused to help, refused to intervene, for the village had acted without them, punishing an innocent woman and her newborn without seeking counsel, and so the gods turned their backs on the land. Umuachala was on its own. The drought worsened, livestock died, children grew thin, and still, the tree wailed, its voice carrying pain and hunger. Then the sacrifices began. From time to time, the tree spoke through dreams, through whispers, through shadows. It told the elders exactly which family it wanted a sacrifice from. The first name it called was the house of Okonkwo, a well-known trader in the village. The demand was clear: a child from your household. A life for a life. Shock tore through the village. People murmured, people argued. No one wanted to believe the tree's words. No one wanted to surrender a child. The elders tried to delay it. The family refused. The village held tight to denial. Until one fateful evening, Okonkwo's first daughter, Adogo, had gone to the stream to fetch water. She was returning home with her clay pot balanced on her head when she passed near the tree, and the ground trembled. Before she could scream, roots shot from the earth, twisting, coiling, alive. They wrapped around her legs, her waist, her arms. She dropped the water pot and it shattered on the ground. Villagers nearby heard her terrified cry. They turned and watched in horror as the tree dragged her toward its trunk. The red sap swallowed her, the roots tightened, her screams echoed, sharp, desperate, unforgettable. Within moments, Adogo was gone, taken, consumed, and only then did the villagers realize the tree was no longer waiting for their obedience, it was taking what it wanted. After the tree swallowed Adogo, a strange calm fell over Umuachala. Almost immediately, everything returned to normal. The rivers began to flow again, the crops grew green and healthy, hunting improved. Trade revived, animals regained their strength, the village breathed in peace, but that peace was temporary. 2 months later, the tree made another demand. This time, it called the name of the Okoro family. It wanted their child. Panic spread through the land once more. The family wept, neighbors protested, people begged the elders to stop this madness, but the elders were helpless, and just as before, when the family delayed, the tree reached out and took what it wanted, dragging another innocent life into its bleeding trunk. Then it moved on to another family, and another, and another. The pattern became clear. Every demand, every refusal, every delay led to another child taken. The village grew weary. Mothers could no longer sleep at night, children were kept indoors, trembling with fear. Every household lived in anxiety, praying their name would not be called next, and soon, anger rose among the women of Umuachala. For how long would they keep losing their children because of a sin they did not commit? Where were the elders? Where were the warriors? Why should the innocent pay for the mistakes of a few? The mothers of the land gathered together, tired, broken, exhausted from bearing empty graves and crying over children who were taken alive. One blazing afternoon, they marched to the bleeding tree. There were dozens of them, wrapped in wrappers, heads tied in scarves, babies strapped to backs. Tears streaming down hardened faces, they surrounded the tree and began to wail, "Please forgive us." They cried, "We are your fellow women. Show us mercy. We have lost too much. We are tired. Our children are our heartbeat, please, spare them." At first, the tree was silent. Then, as their sobs grew louder and their voices filled the air, a deep, thunderous roar erupted from the trunk, shaking the ground beneath their feet. The voice of Ngozi, twisted by pain, strengthened by rage, thundered from within. "Why do you disturb me? Where were you when my child was taken? When I was dragged away unjustly? Which of you stood for me? Which of you women opened your mouths to speak? You mocked me when I was barren, you whispered behind me when I pleaded for a child. And when the gods finally blessed me, you watched as my joy was stolen. Now you come to cry, now you want mercy. This is only the beginning, Umuachala will taste every tear I cried, leave before I silence you forever. The women froze, but grief made them stubborn. They continued pleading, crying, begging the tree to spare them and their children. Then suddenly, one of the roots shot from the earth with lightning speed. Before anyone could react, it wrapped around one of the women, an elderly mother who had already lost 2 grandchildren, and dragged her inside the tree. Her scream ripped through the air. Her wrapper fell to the ground. The other women fled in terror, scattering in every direction, stumbling over themselves as they ran, and once again, the tree stood alone, dripping red sap, pulsing like a living wound. After the women's encounter with the tree, Ngozi grew furious. Its sorrow deepened, its anger thickened, and its spirit became restless. It wasn't yet time for its next demand, yet suddenly, vultures circled above Umuachala, swooping low, letting out disturbing cries. The villagers looked up in fear, but we just made a sacrifice. Someone was just taken. Why are the vultures here again? Nobody had an answer. The tree was raging. The women had provoked it. And this time, without warning, Ngozi made another demand, but something had changed in Umuachala. The women had reached their breaking point. They were exhausted, grieving, hardened by loss. They said, no more. They refused to let another child be taken. They kept their children close. They gathered families together. They guarded one another day and night. And then, one afternoon, fueled by courage and grief, the women marched to the tree again. There was no fear in their steps, only pain and resolve. They stood before the tree and shouted, enough. You can keep taking until you get tired, but we will not bow anymore. We are not afraid. Ngozi let out a long, chilling laugh, a laugh that shook even the stubborn leaves on its branches. If you want peace, the tree said, then give me the blood of an elder. Bring me an elder, and I will leave Umuachala forever.